Hey Jacob, we're a little more than halfway through reading Where the Sidewalk Ends by Shel Silverstein. So, when it comes time to pick another book, let me know what you want to read next. I love you. Dancing Pants. And now for the Dancing Pants, doing their fabulous dance. From the seat to the pleat, they will bounce to the beat, with no legs inside them, and no feet beneath. They whirl and twirl and jiggle and prance. So just start the music and give them a chance. Let's have a big hand for their wonderful, marvelous, super sensational, utterly fabulous, talented dancing pants. I won't hatch. Oh, I am a chickie who lives in an egg. But I will not hatch, I will not hatch. The hens they all cackle, the roosters all beg. But I will not hatch, I will not hatch. For I hear all the talk of pollution and war, as people all shout and the airplanes roar. So I am staying in here where it's safe and warm. I will not hatch. With his mouth full of food, Milford Dupree, though he knew it was rude, talked with his mouth full of food. He never would burp or walk out in the nude, but he talked with his mouth full of food. His mother said, Milford, it's crude and it's lewd to talk with your mouth full of food. Why, even the milk cow, who mooed as she chewed, never mooed with her mouth full of food. And the cuckoo would never have cuckooed if he cooed with his mouth full of food. His dad said, go get married or go get tattooed, but don't talk with your mouth full of food. If it was a crime, you would surely get sued if you talked with your mouth full of food. Why, just like an animal, you should be zooed as you talk with your mouth full of food. For you know we're all put in a terrible mood when you talk with your mouth full of food. They pleaded and begged, he just giggled and chewed and laughed with his mouth full of food. And all they advised him, he simply pooh-poohed. He pooh-poohed with his mouth full of food. So they sent for a gluer and had his mouth glued, 'cause he talked with his mouth full of food. Now instead of good morning, he says, my hobby. When you spit from the 26th floor, and it floats on the breeze to the ground, does it fall upon hats, or on white Persian cats, or on heads with a pitty-pat sound? I used to think life was a bore, but I don't feel that way anymore. As I count up the hits, as I smile, as I sit, as I spit from the 26th floor. Instructions. If you should ever choose to bathe an armadillo, use 1 bar of soap and a whole lot of hope and 72 pads of Brillo. The worst. When singing songs of scariness, of bloodiness and hairiness, I feel obligated at this moment to remind you of the most ferocious beast of all, 3,000 pounds and 9 feet tall, the glurpy, slurpy Skakagrawl, who's standing right behind you. The bagpipe who didn't say no. It was 9 o'clock at midnight at 3:15, when a turtle met a bagpipe on the shore side by the sea. And the turtle said, my dearie, may I sit with you, I'm weary? And the bagpipe didn't say no. Said the turtle to the bagpipe, I have walked this lonely shore, I have talked to waves and pebbles, but I have never loved before. Will you marry me today, dear? Is it no you're going to say, dear? But the bagpipe didn't say no. Said the turtle to his darling, "Please excuse me if I stare, but you have the plattest skin, dear, and you have the strangest hair. If I begged you pretty please, love, could I give you just one squeeze, love?" And the bagpipe didn't say no. Said the turtle to the bagpipe, "Ah, you love me, then confess. Let me whisper in your dainty ear and hold you to my chest." And he cuddled her and teased her, and so lovingly he squeezed her, and the bagpipe said, "Auga!" Said the turtle to the bagpipe, "Did you honk or bray or neigh? For auga, when you're kissed, is such a heartless thing to say. Is it that I have offended? Is it that our love is ended?" And the bagpipe didn't say no. Said the turtle to the bagpipe, "Shall I leave you, darling wife? Shall I waddle off to Woden? Shall I crawl out of your life? Shall I move, depart, and go, dear? Oh, I beg you, tell me no, dear." But the bagpipe didn't say no. So the turtle crept off crying, and he never came back no more. And he left the bagpipe lying on that smooth and sandy shore. And some night, when the tide is low, just walk up and say hello there, and politely ask the bagpipe if the story's really so. I assure you, darling children, that the bagpipe won't say no.